Text 6. Egoism is the identification of the seer with the instrument of seeing. The seer is really the self, the pure one, the ever holy, the infinite, the immortal. This is the self of man. And what are the instruments? The chitta or mind stuff, the buddhi or determinative faculty, the manas or mind, and the indriyas or sense organs. These are the instruments for him to see the external world, and the identification of the self with the instrument is what is called the ignorance of egoism. We say, I am the mind, I am thought, I am angry, or I am happy. How can we be angry and how can we hate? We should identify ourselves with the self that cannot change. If it is unchangeable, how can it be one happy moment and one moment unhappy? It is formless, infinite, omnipresent. What can change it? It is beyond all law. What can affect it? Nothing in the universe can produce an effect on it. Yet through ignorance we identify ourselves with the mind stuff and think we feel pleasure or pain. Text 7. Attachment is that which dwells on pleasure. We find pleasure in certain things, and the mind, like a current, flows towards them. And this, following the pleasure center, as it were, is what is called attachment. We are never attached where we do not find pleasure. We find pleasure in very queer things sometimes, but the principle remains. Wherever we find pleasure, there we are attached. Text 8. Aversion is that which dwells on pain. That which gives us pain we immediately seek to get away from. Text 9. Flowing through its own nature and established even in the learned is the clinging to life. This clinging to life you see manifested in every animal. Upon it, many attempts have been made to build the theory of a future life because men are so fond of life that they desire a future life also. Of course, it goes without saying that this argument is without much value, but the most curious part of it is that in Western countries, the idea that this clinging to life indicates a possibility of future life applies only to men but does not include animals. In India, this clinging to life has been one of the arguments to prove past experience and existence. For instance, if it to be true that all our knowledge has come from experience, then it is sure that which we never experience we cannot imagine or understand. As soon as chickens are hatched, they begin to pick up food. Many times it has been seen where ducks have been hatched by hens that as soon as they come out of the eggs, they flew to water and the mother thought they would be drowned. If experience be the only source of knowledge, where did these chickens learn to pick up food, or the ducklings that the water was their natural element? If you say it is instinct, it means nothing. It is simply giving a word, but is no explanation. What is this instinct? We have many instincts in ourselves. For instance, most of you ladies play the piano and remember when you first learned how carefully you had to put your fingers on the black and the white keys one after the other. But now, after long years of practice, you can talk with your friends while your fingers play mechanically. It has become instinct. So with every work we do, by practice it becomes instinct, it becomes automatic. But so far as we know, all the cases which we now regard as automatic are degenerated reason. In the language of the yogi, instinct is involved reason. Discrimination becomes involved and gets to be automatic samskaras. Therefore, it is perfectly logical to think that all we call instinct in this world is simply involved reason. As reason cannot come without experience, all instinct is therefore the result of past experience. Chickens fear the hawk and ducklings love the water. Both of these are results of past experiences. Then the question is whether that experience belongs to a particular soul or to the body simply. Whether this experience which comes to the duck is the duck's forefathers' experience or the duck's own experience. Modern scientific men hold that it belongs to the body, but the yogis hold that it is the experience of the mind transmitted through the body. This is called the theory of reincarnation. We have seen that all our knowledge, whether we call it perception or reason or instinct, must come through that one channel called experience. And all that we now call instinct is the result of past experience degenerated into instinct, and that instinct regenerates into reason again. So on throughout the universe, and upon this has been built one of the chief arguments for reincarnation in India. The recurring experiences of various spheres in course of time produce this clinging to life. That is why the child is instinctively afraid, because the past experience of pain is there in it. Even in the most learned men who knows that this body will go and who say, never mind, we have had 100 of bodies, the soul cannot die, even in them with all their intellectual convictions, we still find this clinging on to life. Why is this clinging to life? We have seen that it has become instinctive. In the psychological language of the yogi, it has become a samskara. The samskaras, fine and hidden, are sleeping in the chitta. All these past experience of death, all that which we call instinct, is experience become subconscious. It lives in the chitta and is not inactive but is working underneath. The chitta vrittis, the mind waves, which are gross, we can appreciate and feel. They can be more easily controlled. But what about the finer instincts? How can they be controlled? When I am angry, my whole mind becomes a huge wave of anger. I feel it, see it, handle it, can easily manipulate it, can fight with it, but I shall not succeed perfectly in the fight until I can get down below to its causes. A man says something very harsh to me, and I begin to feel that I am getting heated, and he goes on till I am perfectly angry and forget myself, identify myself with anger. When he first began to abuse me, I thought I am going to be angry. Anger is one thing, and I was another. But when I became angry, I was anger. These feelings have to be controlled in the germ, the root, in their fine form, before even we have become conscious that they are acting on us. With the vast majority of mankind, the fine states of these passions are not even known, the states in which they emerge from the subconscious. When a bubble is rising from the bottom of the lake, we do not see it, nor even when it is nearly come to the surface. It is only when it bursts and makes a ripple that we know it is there. We shall only be successful in grappling with the waves when we can get hold of them in their fine causes, and until you can get hold of them and subdue them before they become gross, there is no hope of conquering any passion perfectly. To control our passions, we have to control them at their very roots, then alone shall we be able to burn out their very seeds. As fried seeds thrown into the ground will never come up, so these passions will never arise.